Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mitesh Gala. Welcome to Rough Book, a learning companion.
And let's see how can we go about it. In the first exercise, just before we begin, I'm so sorry. In the first exercise, we actually understood how to calculate the compound interest and the amount. Now in the second exercise, we are going to understand how to calculate compound interest, how to calculate simple interest, and how to calculate the difference between them. Or probably one new type might come wherein we are going to use unitary method. So when we hit those type of sums, I will tell you how to go about. As of now, I want everyone to start with sum number 1, which talks about calculating the difference between simple interest and compound interest. So the sum reads this way: calculate the difference between simple interest and compound interest on rupees 4,000. So principal is rupees 4,000 for 2 years. So number is 2 years at the rate of 8%. So they want us to calculate the difference between the simple interest and the compound interest. So let's see how can we go about it. I want everyone to try this sum. Go ahead, pause the video. So first we are trying to calculate for simple interest. So I will directly calculate the simple interest PNR, that is principal number into the rate upon 100. So 16 4s are 64. So I get 640 rupees. That is my SI. So simple interest 640 rupees. Now let's try and calculate the compound interest. So we are sticking to the same method for first year and then we'll go to the next year. So I1 principal 1 year 8%. So 8 4s are 32 becomes 320. A1 equals P2, that is going to be 4,000 plus 320. So 4320. Let's go for the second year. So for second year, I2 4320, 8% again 1 year. 8 2s are 16, 8 3s are 24 and 1 25, 34. 1 decimal, so don't keep it 1 decimal, keep it 2 decimals, add a 0 because it is rupees. So therefore my total compound interest, add this and this, or find the amount and then subtract from 4,000. So whatever method. So let's see what do I get. I get 665.60 rupees. So therefore the difference between the CI and the SI, 25.60 rupees. How many hands go up who got the same answer? Yeah, if you manage to get it, great. I want you to try sum number 3. Come on, go ahead, see what is the sum talking about and try finding the answer. Let's go to sum number 3. So the third one says, a sum of money is lent out at 8% per annum compound interest. So the rate is 8%. If the interest for the second year exceeds the first year, that means interest, that is I2 in the second year, exceeds the first year by rupees 96, then calculate the sum of money. So sum of money is nothing else but the principal. So your target is to find the value of the principal provided that this condition is given. Now when this condition is given, when I was talking to you in the start about unitary method, this is the type of question that I was talking about. So how are you going to go about it? Whenever, let's make a thumb rule, whenever principal has been asked, you start by saying let the principal be rupees 100. Okay, will you remember that? Whenever principal is asked, start the sum by saying let the principal be rupees 100. Now that you considered this as 100, on this 100 at the rate of 8%, calculate I1 and I2. Once you calculate I1, I2, get their difference. Then I will tell you what has to be done. So for first year, I1. So I1 is 100, 1 year 8%. So becomes 8 rupees. So I got my I1, A1 or P2, 100 plus 8, 108 rupees. For second year, I will calculate my I2. So my I2 will be 108, 1 into 8% again. So that will be 64, 164 and 2 decimals. 8 8 is 64 and 1 and 2 decimals. Sorry, 864 and 2 decimals. So 8.64 rupees. So therefore I2 minus I1, 8.64 minus 8. So 0.64. So we tried and calculated the difference between I2 and I1 on the basis of 100. 100 is a hypothetical situation that we have created. Now we use the unitary method. We say principal and I2 minus I1, the condition they gave. So we considered principal as 100, and on this hypothetical situation we got the answer as 0.64. Now their I2 minus I1 is 96. So how much will be their principal? So this is the unitary method which we are talking about. 96 into 100 upon 0.64. So 96, 100, one more 100 to get rid of the decimals in the denominator. Yeah, I can cancel this in terms of 8. 8 12s are 8 8s are 4 2s are 4 3s are 2 1s are 2 50s are. So 5 3s are 15, 1 0 and 2 more zeros. So I managed to get my principal. So I'll say therefore principal is equal to rupees 15,000. Let's repeat the entire sum because this is the peculiar sum which you can expect in the exam and in the major part of this chapter as well. So I want everyone to focus once again. First thumb rule, whenever principal has been asked, we consider the principal as 100. The moment you consider it as 100, there will be some condition given, I3 minus I2 or I3 minus I1 or A2 minus A1, whatever the condition is given, reach to those parts, get your answer based on 100 for those parts, and then you use the unitary method, compare them and you will get your answer automatically. We'll try and do few more sums of similar type whenever they come. I want you to start with sum number 5. Come on, go ahead. Read the question, see what you follow. A man borrows 5,000 at 12% compound interest payable every 6 months. Remember 6 months, okay? So principal is 5,000, rate is 12%, but payable half yearly. So 6 months is half yearly. Further, he repays 1,800 at the end of every 6 months. So at the end of the 6 months, amount being repaid, so repayment has been made, is rupees 1,800. Calculate the third payment he has to make at the end of 18 months in order to clear the entire loan. At the end of 3 cycles, that is 18 months, how much money is he liable to pay back if he is paying this much? So it's a very simple question. You start from the principal, calculate 12%, you get I1, add you get A1, subtract 18,000, you get P2. That's the only twist. I'll do the first year and then you can carry it forward. So for first half year, it's half yearly. So my interest I1 will be principal into rate, and time I will take it as half year into 1 by 100. So 2 ones are 6. So 300 rupees is the interest for first half year. I can directly write P2. How will I get P2? So 5,000 plus the interest minus 1,800. Why minus 1,800? Because 1,800 is paid back at the end of every year. I think I have gone somewhere wrong. No, I am correct. So it goes up 2 ones are 6 are 300. So let's add it. 5,300 minus 1,800. So that will be around 3,500. Have we calculated correct? Recheck. 35. So 45 plus 8, 53. Correct. For second half year, let's calculate this. I2. Come on, now go ahead. You know now the method how to go about. Get the P3, that is the principal for the third half year. So that's going to be 3,500 into 12% again, but half year. Don't forget the half year, otherwise you will mess up. So do you get 210? Super. So now my P3 will be 3,500 was the balance left. Add 210 and subtract 1,800. Correct? So if I subtract 1,800 first, that will be 2,500 and another 800, 1,910. Is this correct? Let's check. 2,000, 3,710. Perfect. Now I will have to go for the third half year. So for third half year, that becomes my I3. I have to go at the end of the third year. That's why I am calculating I3. So that will be 1910 12% half year. Are you with me till here? Half year and all that. Please don't forget that. So 1 0 is getting cancelled, 1 0 is balance, 2 ones are 6. So I'll have to put a decimal. So I get 114.6, so make it 60. So therefore final payment, that is at the end of the 18 months. So that should be, this was the balance 1910 plus 114.60. Now don't subtract 1800 because now you are making the entire payment together. So just add these two and you should be sorted. So it should be 2024.60. How many managed to get the same answer? This is 2B, sum number 5. Great, if you got the same answer. Now this same sum can be asked in different ways. They can tell you what is the amount at the beginning of the 4th year. See, now it's going to be different. Beginning of the 4th year, that means at the end of the 3rd year also I'll have to subtract 1800. But since they said at the end of 3rd year, now you don't need to subtract 800. So you have to look at the words of the final part that has been asked. Everyone, try sum number 7. Come on, go ahead. Sum number 7 is talking about depreciation. So before you begin, let me make you understand what depreciation is. Anything when you buy a product, let's say if I bought an air conditioner, after 2 years when I sell it, I am not going to get the same price which I had bought it at. Why? Because I had used it. So the amount that has reduced is called as depreciation. For example, if I bought the AC for 5,000, after 2 years someone's offering me 3,000. So the reduction of 2,000 is nothing else but depreciation. So every year, every product that we buy usually depreciates by a particular rate. That's what we assume. So the method remains the same, but instead of I, we call it as D1, D2. And here instead of adding the interest, we subtract the depreciation because the prices are reducing. So the only difference is this will change, right? So please try 7th with the logic that I just taught you. Come on, go ahead. A manufacturer estimates that his machine depreciates by 15% of its value. 15% of its value at the beginning of the year. Matlab whatever the price at the start of the year is, reduce that by 15%. Find the original value or the cost of the machine if it depreciates by 5355 during the second year. So depreciation for the second year is given to us as 5355. Now this is an interesting question. We'll have to be a little smart in order to solve this. Find the original cost, that is the principal. So what was the thumb rule we made? Whenever principal is asked, absolutely. Whenever principal is asked, assume this to be 100. Reach to D2 and then the unitary. You remember? Come on, try it. So let the principal be rupees 100. Now that the principal is 100 for first year. Remember you have to subtract. So depreciation 1 on 100, 15% has to be 15 rupees. So what is my P2? 100 minus 15 becomes 85 rupees. Yeah. I need to reach to D2 in order to compare. So I'll have to go for one more year. So for second year, D2. D2 is going to be 85 into 1 into 15% divided by 100. So let's multiply. 15 5s are 75, 127 divided by 100. So becomes 12.75. That's the depreciation for the second year. No need to go ahead because now you are supposed to do the unitary method. So principal and D2. So when my principal is 100, the D2 is 12.75. So when the D2 is 5355, how much should be the principal? So we are doing the cross multiplication, that is unitary method. 5355 into 100, one more 100 in order to get rid of the decimal. Are you with me till here? Super. Let's cancel in multiples of 25. 25 4s are, 25 5s are 125, so 25 1s are. This is a multiple of 17, so this also should be a multiple of 17. 17 3s are 17, or let me directly take it with 51. Yeah, you want to try? 51 1s are, 51 ones are 51, so I get 2. 25 doesn't go in 51, so I put a 0. So now I get 255. So 51 5 times will be 255. See, 51 into 5 will give me 255. So we are sorted with this. I directly get 105 into 4. So 4 5s are 20 and 4. So 420 and 2 more zeros. This should be the original cost of the machine. So the machine in the start was bought for rupees 42,000, and later on the price started reducing by depreciation. So I will write therefore original cost of machine was rupees 42,000. Yeah. So whenever there is depreciation, remember you need to subtract. Whatever has been given, reach to that part and do unitary method. Very important type of question is this. So once again, whenever we get this type, I want everyone to go ahead with this one. I want everyone to try sum number 9. 9 again is an interesting question. So try sum number 9. It's not that difficult. If you try it, you will get it. But read the question carefully. Each word is important in the question. It says a man saves 3,000 every year and invests it at the end of the year. This end of the year is very important. At the rate of 10% per annum. Calculate the total amount of the savings at the end of third year. Okay. So at the end of first year, what will happen? I will not calculate interest in the first year because first year he is still saving it. Okay. So I will write over here end of first year. I will just get my principal for the second year, which will be rupees 3,000, because now he has saved at the end of the first year and he is going to invest it in the second year. If you started this right from the first year, you will mess up the question. So first year nothing, no interest. Directly I'll have to start with for second year. My I2 will be 3,000, 10%. So that should be 300 rupees. Now this is going to be interesting. Calculate P3 and show me. Let's see if you manage to get it correct. I'm giving you some time. Stop the video, try it and then come back. So my original money plus the interest. Yes, if you done this, super. Plus another 3,000. Why this 3,000? Because at the end of the year he is depositing it. So I get 6,300 then. Correct? And for third year, because your question says at the end of third year. So for third year, I am still going to get some interest called as I3. So 6,300, 10%. My answer should be 630 rupees. So end of third year, what will happen? End of third year. Tell me what will be the total amount at the end of third year if you can get it. If you match with me, super. 6,300 I had, plus I got the interest 630. Did you do this? Plus 3,000 at the end of the year which he saved. So that becomes 9,930. How many managed to get the same answer? Great. Let's understand the whole question. At the end of the year he is depositing. So throughout the year he is not depositing, so no interest. At the end of the year, so second year he gets the interest, you add it. And you add another 3,000 at the end of the second year. So you get the principal for the third year, calculate the interest plus principal plus another 3,000 at the end of the year. So it becomes 9,930. See, these are simple sums, but you need to understand the language of the question, otherwise you will mess up. Try 10th. Let's see if you can manage to get it correct. A man borrows 10,000 at 5%. So his principal is given to you as 10,000. Rate is given to you as 5%. He repays 35% of the sum borrowed at the end of first year and 42% of the sum borrowed at the end of second year. So first year at the end he is repaying 35%. So I am just writing minus 35 first year. So first year. And second year minus 42%. We will reread the question once we reach to these parts. Okay. First we will just try and calculate the interest. The question is how much money must he pay at the end of third year in order to clear the entire debt. So at the end of third year. So first let's reach to the third year. For the first year. So my interest 10,000, 5%. So I get 500 rupees. What is the repayment? So repayment, they said, is 35% of what? So read it again. 35% of the sum borrowed. So what is the sum borrowed? 10,000. So 35% of 10,000. So my answer should be 3,500. So therefore, what will be my P2? Principal for the second year. So original money plus the interest minus the money that has been returned. So that should be rupees 7,000. How many managed to get the same answer? Perfect. Let's go further. Yeah. Now for the second year. So for second year, let's calculate I2. 7,000, 5%. So that should be 350 rupees. Yeah. Did you manage to get the same? 350. So now my P3, principal for the third year, will be this 7,000 which is balance plus the interest 350 minus the money that he has repaid. So we forgot to calculate that. So repayment. So how much will be the repayment? 42%. Let's read it again. 42% of the sum borrowed. So sum borrowed was 10,000. So 42% of that should be 4,200 rupees. So this needs to be subtracted. Pause the video, go ahead now and finish the question. So subtract 4,200. So 7,300 minus 4,200 should give you 3,150. So 4 plus 3, 7, 350. Correct. Yeah. Now for third year, calculate the interest for the third year. That should be 3,150, 5%. So 5 5s are 25. 5 plus 2, 7. 5 3s are 15. 1 decimal and 0. Always remember, no rupees should be 1 decimal place. All rupees are going to be 2 decimal places. Okay. So I get 157.50. So therefore my final repayment or final payment, what will the final payment be? So the balance, that is 3,150 plus 157.50, and now no more repayment like this, directly the final payment. So it should be 3,307.50. How many managed to get the same answer? Super. If you got the same answer, lovely. I think we managed most of the questions in this exercise. So let's go about it. Your homework. I'm repeating this again and again. Whatever sums you've done in the video, you are bound to do it. And the sums which I'm writing right now as homework, you're supposed to do that as your homework separately. Yeah. So 2, 4, 6, 8 should be your homework for this exercise. And the rest of the sums, as we already discussed, should be in your notebook. I hope you are managing your work everyday basis and not piling it up, and you all are safe also at home. Thank you. Bye. Take care, guys.
Hope you had a lovely mathematics experience with the Rough Book, our learning companion.